Hi guys, it's Tisha Kane. Hey, wanted to get on here, talk about a couple things that, I'm always here to help the parents in my community. One of the things I want to talk about is, how bad the family court sucks. And, the strategy to win in family court, and ask my exes they know, is lie and get to the courts first. That wins. They have won, and two of my children have not been home in 5 years, and my other daughter has not been home in 3 years. And currently, what the visitation looks like for my two oldest children, I haven't talked to them since December of last year, 2020. So it's now been 12 months since I haven't talked to them because of the family court system. And now my daughter, who's 9 years old, I get 45 minutes every Friday. Now, with that being said, my ex is a police officer, and he tries to find every loophole, every which way to Sunday to try to infringe and encroach on our time. Due to the pandemic, I haven't been able to hug my daughter in the last 18, 19 months because of this. And my ex is such a horrible person, Mario Lopez Jr., here in Modesto, California. He's such a horrible person that this is the stuff that he does. I just got off the phone call with my daughter. I have a phone call with her every Friday at 3 p.m. And he busies her up. He keeps her active, activities, things happening. So currently it is 3:13. I had 13 minutes with her on the phone today talking because she's headed to some sort of party for the holiday. So I didn't get the 45 minutes, and each day each week rather, it gets smaller and smaller. But the loophole of which he's getting under is the fact that he is allowing the calls, but because he's brainwashing my daughter so much that, he says, oh, okay, well, after the call, we're going to go get ice cream, or after the call, we're headed to vacation. So then she wants to make the call shorter with mom. So here's how I help the parents in my community. I try to stay in high vibration about it, but it's just annoying and frustrating that here is a police officer who is an absolute horrible person, and he's supposed to protect and serve the public, and yet he's harming his own daughter. Like, he's fractaling out, who she is as a human being, and whether he needs to solve some unanswered question from his childhood. His father was in prison. His stepdad was in prison. His mother was part of the mob, which led him right into the police academy and right into law enforcement, because he had to solve some question of, how do I remedy the fact that I had a horrible life growing up? And so he believes in his delusional mind that, he's actually protecting our daughter from me, that I'm some sort of criminal. In actuality, he's supposed to be out on the streets every day putting people behind bars that are actual criminals, and actually he is the criminal on how he will hurt his daughter and hurt me and try to control me. But the reality is, she'll grow up and she'll know, she already knows the truth that the games, he loves to play games. Narcissistic police officer, we see that all the time. Control, coercion, corruption, conspiracy. You see this in law enforcement all the time. We have lost faith in law enforcement across the country. And here's a prime example of a dad who continues to harm his daughter and hurt his daughter just to get back at the mom. So I'm here to help those in the community, and here's how I help. Look up PC 166, which is willful violation of the custody order. My other ex has been arrested for this, and so has my other ex been arrested for willful violation of this custody order. But because my ex, who's law enforcement, he's a little bit smarter than the other two, maybe just a little bit, because he knows the public laws, doesn't know any of the private, but he knows the public laws. He allows the calls every Friday at 3 for however many minutes, right? So he doesn't willfully violate. He's a horrible person. He's a horrible man, a horrible dad. And although I don't wish him any harm, life is a boomerang. Whatever you throw out there is whatever you get back. And, I am living an amazing life, although there's parts of me that are fractaled off too, because I miss my children, my offspring. I miss them so bad, and they're being brainwashed by the father. So my message to you is, one, shut down the family courts. Try not to go in. It's very hard when you're dealing with guys like this who are narcissistic, delusional people, especially law enforcement who are so into coercive control. So it's very hard to co-parent with someone like this. Luckily, she's 9. And, time goes by so quick, and she'll be able to see what a horrible man that he is, on her own accord. She's very intuitive, and she knows how she's being manipulated. I don't even have to say much to her, but I had 13 minutes with my daughter today during the holiday. It's so sad. It's sad for me. It's sad for her. And he just busies her up. He's a horrible person. Mario Lopez Jr. here in Modesto, California, law enforcement, who can't even protect his own child. It's so sad. Here's how I continue to help people in our community. If you have a custody order and your ex willfully, intentionally violates that order and says that the visits will not happen, you take that court order down to law enforcement. But you have to feed law enforcement, right? You have to give it to them, because they're not, a lot of them aren't very smart. But you take your custody order down to the police station. You tell them that I should have visit today. You tell them and you show them that your ex has willfully, intentionally violated the custody order, and you want your ex arrested for PC 166. And you want to fill out a citizen's arrest form ASAP, and he needs to get arrested for PC 166. Then you start building a case. That's what a case, if you look at like a sausage has a casing, right? So you build a case, you have this casing, and you start putting stuff in. You start putting these police reports. Now, my other ex has violated the restraining order 34 times and never once went to jail. They just gave him these little paper warnings because they were too lazy to go and chase him. But just build your case. PC 166, willful violation of the custody order. Make the other parent accountable. And at this stage of the game, you guys, if we are not doing everything to protect our children, you're failing as a parent. Wake the hell up. You are failing. If you want to fractal out your child and have one parent out of their life, it should be 50-50 unless there's clear physical or emotional abuse, which there is on my ex, who's law enforcement, on my daughter, because she's clearly being brainwashed. But how do you prove that in the family court? It's so sad. Anyway, I hope this message helps you in the community. Willful violation, intentional willful violation of the custody order. Give it to law enforcement. Tell them you want your ex arrested under PC 166. Make it happen. And to all the bad parents out there, you better wake the hell up, because life has changed, and we need these children to stop having to heal from traumas. And if you're part of the trauma in their life, you need to grow the hell up and take responsibility. Quit being a horrible parent. And that's what you are. Peace and love. Tisha Kane.